TwT fans, this is episode 248, and this is January 2nd, 2025, and I'm so glad so many of you are keeping this podcast alive. Before I get into anything today, let me start off the way I always do by saying thank you to all of my subscribers out there. You're what keeps me coming back week after week. If you're new to the podcast, stopping by or checking it out, remember to hit that subscribe button and click the thumbs up if you're enjoying the videos. If you want to be a guest on the podcast or tell your story, talkinwithtopher@gmail.com is the official email of the podcast. Go ahead and send an audio, video, or type it out. Don't forget about the Linktree link. It's in the description below the video, along with all the links from today's episode. It is the easiest way to find everything TWT. And now that that's all out of the way, let's get into today's episode. All right, everybody, it is 2025, and Happy New Year to everybody. It's here, and it's crazy, right? Well, I'm waiting for January 21st. Let's see if things are going to change. I do not do New Year's resolutions. I think they're a waste of time, and I think it's a great way to set yourself up to fail. I think goals, whether they're small or large, as long as they're approachable and reachable, they are going to move you further in life than a New Year's resolution is kind of the way I think about it nowadays. So I've set a whole bunch of goals. I accomplished most of them in 2024. Unfortunately, some financial hiccups and losing my job towards the end of the year, and then having to get a new one 4 weeks later kind of put a hiccup on a few of my goals. But at the end of the day, parts of the goals were reached, and now the goal post has been moved, and I'll work on them this year. That's just the way life goes. You're not going to accomplish everything. That's why you want to set yourself up to be able to accomplish as much as possible so that you feel like you've done something and you're moving forward. When you set a New Year's resolution, oh man, I truthfully do believe, and from my experience personally, they fail. They fail. We lean back on our old habits, and it just becomes a new thing. It's a new year. New year, new me. Doesn't always work for everybody. And the people that it does work for, congratulations. It's just like anything. There's always a group of outliers. There's always a group of people that will never be able to make it happen. There's always groups within the area of anything, really. I think those are the wrong words to use, but you know what I mean. Anything that you're doing or anything that's being done today, there is different spectrums for everything. Some people are going to excel, some people are going to fail, some people will fall in the middle, and I think that goes with everything in life. So even though New Year's resolutions are a thing, they're not a thing for everybody, and not everybody can do the exact same thing. So you have to do what's going to work best for you. It's 2025. Supposedly everything's going to change, and everything might. Is it going to be for the best? Is it going to be for the worst? Is it going to help me, or is it going to hurt me? I don't know. I don't know just as much as you don't know. But what I do know is that the things that I can control and the things that I can pick and choose what to do, what happens, the outcome, those are the things I'm going to focus on. All the stuff that's out of my hands and out of my control, I'm not going to focus on that stuff this year. I'm going to let go of it. I need to let go of more things. I think all of us need to try and let go a little bit more. When you are worried about some other state's laws, I think you're reaching too far. I think we need to just deal with what we're dealing with. And, I wish our government would do the same, instead of focusing on everything going on around the entire world. I wish they would focus on what's going on right here. But since they're probably the main cause of everything that's going on right here, makes sense to why they focus on everything else more than they focus on here. Because if they brought the focus here, they would have to admit that they caused it. And I think that's what we're going to get to the bottom of eventually. Finding out that a lot of these disasters that we've had since forever, I'll go back as far as 2001, if you know what I'm saying. And we're going to find out that these things were done by our government. They were hidden by these federal agencies. And I'm really hoping that come January 2025, January 21st, 2025, we're going to see a change. We're going to see these veils uncovered, these monsters that are behind the curtain kicked off their pedestal, in a sense. And I think we're going to see a much, much better I don't know if we're going to see a better economy. I don't know if anybody like you, me, or anybody are actually going to benefit from anything. But if we could all get the truth out there and we could finally hear the truth, I think it's going to benefit everybody more than what they've been doing, which is covering it up, keeping it a secret, and making believe that we are incapable of handling it. And I think that's going to be one of the biggest wins because, I mean, when it comes down to everything else, we're always on the bottom of the barrel. They're never going to give us anything so that we can make it further. They're going to find more ways to take more money away from us. I mean, it's January. Everything is going to go up. And by the end of the month, everybody's prices are going to increase again. Everything's going up again. And they always, well, it's a new year, everybody. Yeah, but our pay hasn't changed. Unemployment is still based off of 2007. So where do they get off charging us more money for the exact same product that we've had year in and year out? It's no different. It's no different. There is nothing different about anything that we are watching, consuming, or doing that's changed in 12 months. But these people just go, well, it's a new year. Everything increases. We get another 1% out of everybody. That 1% hurts. It damages. And it's a bunch of BS. And I wish that there was a way away from it. I wish that that was something that they were going to work on and fix. But unfortunately, personally, I do not think that's ever going to happen for us. And I don't want to be, a Debbie Downer or whatever, but I mean, I'm a realist. And if we don't realistically look at the situation at hand, which is we are never the ones that get any help. We're always the ones that get squeezed. And you can't admit that, or you can't, look at it and go, hey, it happens all the time. They do everything for everybody else. The poor get poorer, the rich get richer, and the middle gets squeezed. And that's the way it's always been, and I don't think it's going to be any different with the Trump administration. I really don't. One thing I do think is going to happen is that Trump is going to be able to cool off the fact that we are all looking at World War III right now. I mean, we've got drones flying all over New Jersey. It is wild. And now they've made their way into Massachusetts. So there's been some more sightings in Massachusetts about these multiple drones, and I guess some military drones have been flown up there. They're non-heat censored or something. They don't let off heat, so they can't be detected. They flew those drones out there with the other drones, and they still couldn't figure out whose drones these were. Project Bluebeam, everybody. It's here. It's happening. They're getting it going. They are hoping that they can deceive us again, that they can lie to us again, and that they can narrate the story to fit their narrative and to keep us guessing, I guess. You know what I mean? Because if you're too worried about these drones and an alien invasion, you're not thinking about something else that they're sneaking behind us. They're hiding something. They're always hiding. Whenever they release something information or the truth, as they want to call it. It's always so that they can sneak something else by us. It's a classic magic trick. Hey, pay attention over here, over here, over here, over here, while something else is going on behind you, and I do believe that is closest to the truth today. I want to get into some Topher's topics this morning. I got some stuff, man. It is a crazy world out there, and again, Boeing has made it into the paper. These guys, I don't even know how they're allowed to make planes, rocket ships, do anything that they're doing today, because they absolutely and positively do not care about our safety or anything else, because if they did, this stuff wouldn't be happening. Boeing failing to keep track of non-conforming parts. Whistleblower says it's like Russian roulette. So they literally are either skimping on parts or they can't get parts, but yet they're still putting these things together and sending them out there. When a panel known as the door plug blew off an Alaskan Airlines flight minutes after takeoff earlier this year, a quality investigator at the factory where the Boeing plane was manufactured says he wasn't surprised. He said he was almost expecting something like this would happen. Whistleblower Sam Mohawk is speaking publicly for the first time. The problems he's seen during his 13 years working in quality assurance at Boeing's commercial airplane factories months before the door plug incident. Mohawk said he warned both Boeing and federal regulators about lapses in safety practices inside the company's Renton, Washington factory, which is responsible for building about 30% of the world's commercial jet fleet. Mohawk believes defective or non-conforming parts are not being properly tracked there and could be making it onto Boeing planes. A concern, he said, could lead to a catastrophic event without proper investigation. So these people are just cutting corners. They're cutting corners, and we could see something catastrophic happen. We could see a plane go down with hundreds of people on it, and it's crazy to me. It's not like anything that you make today that hurts people, you should be totally held accountable for. But if you're making a car, a bus, a plane, a jet, a rocket, space equipment, you should be held to a different level of expectation. You need to be 110% sure that whatever you're producing is 100% safe for the consumers. Who wants to be flying to Hawaii and land up in the ocean? Nobody does. I do have a video here. Let's see what they say. This thing is like 13 minutes long, so I'm going to play like the first 2 minutes and see if they get to the punch.
Most of you watching tonight have probably flown on an airplane made by the Boeing company. That's why you may have been more than a little rattled when a panel blew off the side of one of its airplanes in January, leaving a gaping hole and a lot of questions for the renowned American company. Since then, 4 federal investigations have been launched, and Boeing hired a new CEO to, quote, restore trust. But that hasn't stopped a steady stream of Boeing whistleblowers from coming forward. The FAA says over the last year, it's received more than 200 reports from whistleblowers. Their safety concerns include mismanagement of parts, poor manufacturing, and sloppy inspections at Boeing. You're about to hear from some of those whistleblowers. They told us why they weren't surprised when a Boeing airplane blew open in the Oregon sky.
So as you can see, they're going to go into the whistleblowers and a lot more information on this and what they're doing behind the scenes. But this is awful. This is absolutely awful. One of the reasons I don't want to fly today is because of this type of stuff. You know what I mean? It's brutal to think about that you could get on a plane and you're starting a vacation, or you're going on a business trip, or you're a comedian and you're traveling, and then just because of lack of security and quality control, your life's over. And that's why I truthfully do believe that these people need to be held accountable. These whistleblowers need to be like congratulated. Like, we should be super, super pumped that these people are doing this. Anytime there's somebody whistleblowing, they need to be congratulated. They need to be thanked. They need to be pardoned and have absolute immunity, because what they're doing is good. Whether they're whistleblowing on this company or the military or whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't have any brain power this morning for some reason, but pick anything. And if they're whistleblowing on it, we need to be listening to them, not trying to capture them and throw them in jail. That's the wrong way to go about this. We need to treat them differently. I don't know. I think Obama said he was going to treat them differently, and then he doubled down and did exactly what everybody else does. And I think it's still continuing today. This is why people are afraid to do these things. But I am super, super appreciative that they are still putting their necks on the line to blow these companies up and let us know as consumers that our lives could be in danger. So, as far as I'm concerned, thank you so much for doing what you're doing. And I'm so sorry that you probably fear for your life and, worry about what's going to happen next because you put your neck out there. But I don't understand why everybody wants to look at the whistleblower as the person in the wrong. It's the companies and the corporations that are in the wrong. They're the ones putting our lives in danger, not the whistleblowers. They're trying to help us. So I think we need to listen to them more and stop doing what we've always done, which is lock them up and make them criminals for trying to protect all of us. You know what I mean? Let's see. Next one. Rawson reports new IRS guidelines for Venmo and PayPal users. Yeah, everybody. Gonna have to stop using your Venmo. Gonna have to stop. I think the first year is gonna be 28. Second year is gonna be 8. And then the third year is gonna be where they want it to be, which is a transfer of $600 a year. And anything past that, you're going to have to file taxes on. And from what my wife told me, she made a purchase recently, put it in as a purchase. The PayPal took their money for it being a purchase. And then the person on the other end threw a fit, had my wife return it, which therefore Venmo kept their 44 cents, gave my wife back the $14.54, and then she had to transfer over $15 privately because these sellers are avoiding paying taxes. So if you're wondering why this is happening, it's because of that. Because people are selling things on these platforms and they're not putting it in as sold. They're not selling it as a product. They're just putting it in as personal, and therefore beating the taxes, not paying taxes, well, they're coming for their taxes. So congratulations, you got away with it for a little bit, but now the rest of us are absolutely screwed and can't use it because of you. So thank you so much for screwing this up for us. I mean, this is what happens. Everybody finds a loophole, and then we all pay for it. So these apps are completely worthless for the reason that they were actually made in the first place now. But let's check this video out.
Hi, yeah. Do you have a freelance job or a side hustle where you get paid through Venmo or PayPal? We've told you before, the IRS is shaking up the rules for third-party payment platforms, and they just released new guidelines on how they're going to handle payment transactions on those apps. So listen up. For the 2024 tax year, you have to report earned income of more than $5,000 on a 1099-K form. For 2025, that drops to $2,500. And for 2026 and beyond, it drops again to just $600. Remember, this is strictly if you make income, not personal transactions. So if you're using Venmo to split rent with your roommates, doesn't count.
Okay.
But let's say you're flipping furniture on Facebook Marketplace for a profit. That would count depending on how much money you made.
So that's it, everybody. It's all because of them. So thanks again for finding a loophole, because they're going to close it, and that's it. If you are selling something and you don't claim it, you're going to get in trouble. And you can't just ask somebody to send you the money on the side, because now when you hit that limit, they're coming after you anyways. So congratulations on ruining all these platforms for everybody else. And I hope it was worth saving the couple hundred or a couple $1,000s in taxes, because now they're coming after it. So I don't know what to tell everybody, but it's unfortunate for the rest of us out here. Now, FBI is warning, stop texting iPhone and Android. So something's going on between the Androids and the iPhones. We find, there's green and blue bubbles. They could give thumbs up to text messages. Now we can too. At the end of the day, I really do despise Apple products. I think they are just simplified, dumbed down thing that everybody finds very convenient and easy to use, but once you're locked into it, there's no way out of it. I think they're too expensive, and they're not really worth it. I've watched people flip Apple laptops, computers, and phones just as much as Google, Samsung, and everybody else. So today, personally, for me, I think they're almost equal. Now, a lot of you are going to argue and be upset that I even said that. But, I mean, realistically, they're really no different. Me and Tyler sat there, and we looked through them, and he's like, I just got this update. And I'm like, I've been able to do that. And you know what I mean? So, like, things that Apple couldn't do, now they can. Things that Android couldn't do, now they can. But for some reason, they've been trying to get the text messaging between the two platforms to be more consistent, because a lot of us are tired of sharing pictures with one another, and they double them down, right? If Apple sends me a picture, it gets dubbed down. And if I send them a picture, it gets dubbed down, because they want you to feel excluded. They want you to feel like, oh, well, if I had an iPhone, then the pictures that I'm sharing with my friends would come in clear, or vice versa. And I think that's just so stupid. Like, the way you get around that, just send it in an email. So I have all my Apple friends just send it to me in an email now. And if I don't get it in an email, well, then hopefully I can make it out. But at the end of the day, I didn't know there was some cyber hack going on. And I think they're almost equal today. I really do. Now, everybody's going to argue with me, and, oh, no, Apple's so much better. Why? Why is it? What is it about being on a side? It's just like picking, the Reds team or the blue team or this or that. Why do we always have to be on a team? What does it matter? What do you care what people use? I don't care that people use Apple. I just don't think Apple is superior. It's just my personal opinion. And that's the wonderful thing about where we are today, because we get to make these decisions and we get to have these opinions and say these things that I'm saying. But I'm not going to sit here and bash you because you have Apple. I just don't find it to be a good product for me, you know? So I wanted to see what this was all about because I had just recently heard, and I figured it would be nice to have an idea of what's going on between Apple and Android and some cyber hacks with our emails. I don't know. Or our text messaging, I should say.
In today's digital landscape, the FBI has issued a critical warning that affects millions of smartphone users. Cybersecurity threats are evolving, and it's essential to stay informed and vigilant. Let's dive into the details of this alarming announcement and what it means for you. The FBI, alongside the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, has urged both iPhone and Android users to stop sending text messages. This warning stems from a significant cyber espionage campaign believed to be orchestrated by state-backed hackers from China, known as Salt Typhoon. The implications of this warning are profound, as it highlights the vulnerabilities in our everyday communications. Text messages exchanged between iOS and Android devices are particularly susceptible to interception. Unlike iMessages and Google Messages, which offer built-in encryption, communications across these two ecosystems lack the same level of security. This gap in protection can leave your personal information exposed to cybercriminals. To safeguard your communications, the FBI recommends migrating to secure messaging apps such as WhatsApp or Signal. These platforms provide robust encryption for all communications, ensuring that your messages and calls remain confidential, significantly lowering the risk of unauthorized access. The recent surge in cyber threats has highlighted the importance of cyber hygiene practices. With at least 8 major U.S. telecommunications companies compromised, this public safety announcement serves as a wake-up call for all smartphone users. It's crucial to adopt better security measures to protect your personal information. As we navigate this evolving threat landscape, remember that perceptions of privacy and security must be coupled with proactive steps to maintain them. The FBI's warning is a timely reminder of the importance of staying informed and vigilant in today's digital age.
Well, that is, I mean, out of all the people, I don't believe the FBI. What if it was the FBI that did this? What if they do everything? They cause everything. I'm telling you, they do these things and then they warn us about it so that we can buy something that will help protect us. And I do use WhatsApp every now and then. I do use Signal every now and then, but maybe I will have to start using it with people that have iPhone from here on out. I don't know. It's crazy. The more we get into the technological world, the more hackers keep finding ways to take things from us, and then we have to get more security. And then the security gets hacked, and it doesn't protect us anyway. So I don't know what the best way to do anything today is, because I really do feel like, oh, the FBI is telling us. Well, then I feel like the FBI caused this, you know? So it's just crazy. So use caution when sending messages between Android and iOS, and we'll see what happens from there. But if the FBI is telling us to be careful, they must have something to do with it. So this one here, I was blown away. Now, I don't know when this all started, but I mean, this is how I used to always, well, my parents would cook lobster and crabs and all the things, but there is an immediate ban on boiling crabs and lobsters called for after disturbing study. Now, we've always said that, but people have always said, oh, well, it's not them screaming when we put it into the water. It's them releasing air, which I always thought was true, but we'll see. Have you ever wondered if crabs and lobsters felt pain or fear as they were being boiled alive before making it onto your dinner plate? Recent study shows that these creatures experience discomfort in ways we hadn't fully understood. No shit, everybody. No Shit. What are we talking about? You are putting a live creature in water, turning the temperature to what? What's boiling water? 365? And it's just a slow boil. You know, I think it's like, what is it? A frog, right? I think it's a frog. If you take a frog and you're boiling water and you go to put the frog in the boiling water, the frog will jump away from the water. But if you put the water in the pot and you put the frog in the water while it's like lukewarm or semi-cold, and then you turn up the temperature, that frog will literally stay in that thing and die, because the temperature increases slowly. So what is to make you think that these creatures, I'll call them, didn't feel anything? They are being boiled alive. Now, a lot of the times that my parents did it, they brought the water to a boil and then dropped the suckers in. You know, I think it's maybe a little bit more humane if you put them in room temperature water and then turn it up. Maybe they feel a little less discomfort because they would almost be more comfortable before the actual boil started. But Dr. Lynn Snedden, a zoologist at the University of Gothenburg, believes it's time we reconsider how we treat these animals. We need to find less painful ways to kill shellfish if we are continuing to eat them, because now we have scientific evidence that they both experience and react to pain. I mean, are we actually shocked by this? Are we? You mean a live creature, a living thing, feels pain and discomfort when it's being put through pain and discomfort? Like, what are you talking about? Trees are living. They feel pain. We just can't hear it. Anything alive, if you're killing it, it's feeling discomfort or pain. It doesn't matter what it is. Could be a plant, could be an animal, could be a shellfish, could be anything. If it, bacteria, if it's alive, I'm pretty sure if you're killing it, it feels it. It feels it. Until now, the idea of crustaceans feeling pain was mostly based on observing studies. Researchers noticed that when crabs and lobsters were exposed to potentially harmful stimuli like electroshocks or acids, they would touch the affected area and try to avoid the danger in subsequent encounters. No shit. The behavior led to many to believe they might be experiencing pain. But the team at the University of Gothenburg took it a step further. PhD student Eleftheris Kassaras led to a study where they measured the activity in the shore crab's brain using EEG style recordings. Oh, poor little sucker. Let's see. We could see that the crab had some kind of pain receptors. Oh, I'll show you the picture right here. Electrodes measuring brain activity were attached to a shore crab, which was subjected to mechanical and chemical stimuli. Eleftherios Kassaras, I think is his name. If I butchered it, I'm really sorry. We could see that the crab had some kind of pain receptors in its soft tissues because we recorded an increasing in brain activity when we applied a potentially painful chemical form of vinegar to the crab's soft tissues. The same happened when we applied external pressure to several of the crab's body parts. Jesus Christ, man, you're torturing the poor thing. These findings suggest that the shore crabs have pain signaling system that sends messages to the brain when they experience harmful stimuli. So they want everybody to stop boiling the crabs, everybody. Stop boiling them. They feel pain. They're freaking out. They're trying to get away from it. And it is possible that we hear their screams when we're boiling them. So sorry to make you sad, but it looks like crabs are going to have rights soon. Shellfish are it's probably gonna come on the bag. Do not boil alive. So what are we all supposed to do? They bet you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna make a tool that you have to purchase that will humanely kill the shellfish before you boil it. Which I think is, again, just another thing that they have implemented, that they have done, that now costs us more money because now they're like, don't boil them alive. Well, I would put them in warm water and I would boil them that way because I would want them to be alive. You don't want the muscles to contract. You don't want them, it's just like when you kill a deer or anything else. If it's in shock, it changes the meat. That's why you don't want to startle it. So you don't want to try to use a tool to kill these things because then you're going to startle it, right? And it could change the consistency of the meat. So I don't know about this, but I do know that they're not watching us in our home, I hope. And if they are, by our phones and our Amazon Echoes and all the things that are in our houses and the Google Nest cameras and everything that's going on, if they do have eyes inside the house, then we'll just have to do this in secret because I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm just going to do what I've always done. But luckily, I hate seafood and I definitely don't care for shellfish. So it doesn't really matter to me. I don't think, even though I know fish is really good for us and it's brain food and it's all this and that, I have never been a cause of any of the fish being pulled from the ocean, and I want to remain that way because I don't know. I just hate the way it smells, and I don't find it to be very filling, but I have enjoyed calamari, scallops, lobster, trout, wolffish. But it's just not for me. And the fact that, I feel like 90% of the world is like, you are crazy for not liking fish. And I don't know. I've just never really cared for it. My parents tried to get me to eat it, and I was like, nah, this isn't for me. It's too smelly. Let's see. Smashing Pumpkins' Billy Corgan reveals he might be related to comedian Bill Burr. Dude. It's so funny. What? Let's see here. The resemblance is really, really close. But why is he coming out and saying this? So let's see. Smashing Pumpkins frontman Billy Corgan has claimed that there is a chance comedian Bill Burr is his half-brother. The 57-year-old musician revealed that his suspicions were raised by his own stepmother. What? Speaking on Howie Mandel Does Stuff podcast, which is really good. I like that podcast. On Tuesday, November 26th, Corgan commented on the resemblance between the pair before beginning the story. He said, never told to anyone. In fact, most of my friends don't even know this story. Corgan went on, so about 10 years ago, one of my brothers was having a birthday party, and my stepmom was there, who was obviously married to my father. And my stepmother said to me, do you know who Bill Burr is? Now, at that point, I had never heard of Bill Burr. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know he was a comedian or anything. He could have been the guy down the street. Corgan's stepmother then found a photo of Burr, who is now 56, and Corgan said he quickly noted a familiar resemblance. I kind of noticed right away. He kind of looks like my father, he said. Bill Burr looks more like my father than Bill Burr looks like me. Or I look like Bill Burr. He then asked his stepmother why she brought up the topic. She goes, I think it might be one of your father's illegitimate children. Bill Burr might be one of the children that your father sired in his days of being a traveling musician, said Corgan. This is a true story. I'm not making this up. This is no joke. There is no joke in this. This is a true story. I've never told this anywhere, honestly. Corgan added, and my father did once tell me that I have a half-brother named Bill, who was basically born around the same time as me. He told me on my 18th birthday. This is totally true. I swear to God. So I said, well, how many other possible illegitimate children does Daddy have? Because he did tell me about this one Bill. And again, I didn't know that Bill was a famous comedian. He could have been a guy that's working down the street at a whack factory in Chicago. I had no idea who he was. None. Zero. And she goes, I think there's 12 total. The musician went on, joking. Well, he was a traveling musician. Corgan said he'd never asked Burr about the possibility of being related and admitted he had his doubts about the story. It's my belief that at this point, because I've sat on the story for 10 years, that I don't think Bill Burr and I are related, said Corgan. I think it's just one of those things. There are just people in the world that look alike, which we talked about, before. A couple weeks ago when I showed that video that was put together where you were looking up, a famous person and then looking up a photo from the past, like Epstein looks like Jackson, who's on the $20 bill, you know what I mean? And all these correlations between these people that look so alike, the short guy there that played in, that show I've never seen with the dragons. He's from 1864. There's somebody that looks exactly like him. Well, it's either a doppelganger or a vampire, but I'm going more with the fact that our DNA probably makes a duplicate copy every so many years or whatever. And it's just a possibility that people do look similar and have absolutely no relation. So I just found this to be really interesting because, for him to come out and say this, well, wouldn't that be pretty cool if it was true? I don't know if Bill Burr would accept it or whatever, but it's not like it's somebody off that's just down the street, working at a factory. It's Bill Burr and Billy Corgan. So you're like, okay, these are two rich, famous people. So for them to be half brothers, neither one of them really need each other, right? So it's not anything malicious. So if it winds up being true, it could be kind of cool. I hope they look more into it and maybe see if it's something that actually is plausible. I think it would be pretty interesting. But all right, now it's time for some Topher's theories. We're going to get into some fun stuff. Congress confirms that Hurricane Helene was weaponized. Look at this. Conspiracists win again. I don't know how true this is.
And this just broke. Congress is now confirming that Hurricane Helene did have U.S. government weather weapon planes in it. Now, we already have the tracks. We already have the tail numbers. They don't even hide this crap. It just broke. It's on Infowars.com. Breaking. Lawmakers briefed on weather modification tech conclude Hurricane Helene was DOD-linked weather weapon deployed against American people. Bombshell. There's Dale Whittington, who we're getting on the show, I think, tomorrow. So there you go, of Geoengineering Watch with Colonel McGregor. Let's go ahead and air these two clips back to back.
Yes. The question here is, how does this hurricane's path differ from others that we've seen? I've already had a lot of people call me from the Asheville area, talk specifically about the horrendous damage, and many of them pointed out that that is not Hurricane Alley per se. It's not an area that normally attracts storms. Can you help us understand this?
Well, the bottom line is it was directed there, as the transmission recordings clearly show. They kept that moisture corralled there to deluge in the same location. So again, these are patented technologies, and the fact that we have the entire so-called meteorological community denying that this is going on to protect their paychecks and pensions is absolutely criminal at this point. We know we have private defense contractors that are neck deep in the patents that manipulate these.
I want to let everybody know that I think it's the Supreme Court or some branch of the system denied the Onion from buying InfoWars. That just recently came out. This video could go on for a couple more minutes, or it just ended. I'm not sure, but you get the idea. We've been saying it. We've been going over it. We've been watching the planes. We see the seeding. We see the storm turn. We see the devastation, and we see them stopping them from getting their land back. Why? Lithium. And it is absolutely 1,000%. I don't know if it's 1,000% true, but it's 1,000% that something happened so that area got devastated, so that people can't live there and they can get what they want. Look, I don't think we are that far from the truth. We are very close. And if this is, I take everything that Alex Jones says with a grain of salt, because he's been right more than he's been wrong. And there has been stuff coming out about that shooting, and I don't know how real it is, but man, it really does seem like he was closer to being right than he was wrong, and I don't know if prosecution got it right. I've seen some stuff. I don't want to get too into it because it's very touchy, and I don't need any of the trouble that anybody else has gone through for saying that it didn't happen. But man, it really seems like they were onto something. And I don't know how true that is, but if that ever turns out to be true, man, I hope that they at least fix what they did, because that would mean he was right, and everything that he went through and everything that happened was manufactured, and they were just trying to shut him up. So I don't know exactly what happened, but I do know that the Onion did not get to purchase that, and they were really hoping for that win so that they could finally, basically kill InfoWars and shut Alex Jones up, which it's not working, everybody. And as you can see, now we're finding out that the storm was manipulated and caused by our government. So these things have a way of coming out, and today it is much harder for them to hide it from us. So this is really neat. Levitating 1,000 tons of stone, the Coral Castle. Now this place was built by one person, an old man, over the course of years. And it is done exactly how pyramids were done, certain stone walls, that we cannot figure out how they were made, how they were so precise, how they went together so well. We cannot figure it out. This guy said he knew the secrets to the pyramids and how they were built. Then he died and didn't tell anybody. But he did this. Now, I might not be able to show you everything. This video is 57 minutes. I'm telling you, check this one out. It is really, really interesting. I was super thankful that it got sent to me. And again, as always, thank you, Hugh, Elijah, Miguela, all of you guys for sending me this stuff. I greatly appreciate it. If there's, I've told everybody, if you don't want me to share something you send me, just let me know. I'll leave it out of the podcast, but I greatly appreciate all the stuff that gets sent to me every week and weekend. It's not only is it entertaining and fun, but you guys give me a lot to talk about on here. So I greatly appreciate all my good friends who give me more shit to talk about every week. So check this out, though. This is so interesting. I've never heard of this place before, and I've never seen anything like it. But this guy did it by himself.
Homestead. The main idea is that we get to spend several hours inside Coral Castle and document it and film it for the first time in, who knows how long.
He was brought into a mystery school, and in some way he was able to convey the mysteries of the ancients and hide mysteries into this stone construction.
They look down, what is this sitting on? And they find it's a piece of rock. They send it to the geology department, and they say, material not of this earth.
What?
It comes from where? Outer space?
2 teenage witnesses were said to have seen Ed levitating the giant stones like balloons.
That there is a black ball. They find a black ball.
The gears that he had inside, it was a pump.
And the holes on that one point at the top of the gateway over here where there's a metal.
Because you can get energy from limestone, depending on how you create your stone technology, I believe even the positions that they were put in, the locations that the chair sat in, had a purpose energetically even. So
doesn't his voice sound like Morgan Freeman? I bet you he can do a great Morgan Freeman.
this entire place is one giant stone machine.
He died with the secrets of why he moved the castle.
And that's what they thought about the pyramids, too. They thought that they were energy, like a nuclear plant, some type of power. So, like it's crazy, man. There's no such thing as coincidences. I don't believe in them.
On the ley line intersection of the Bermuda Triangle.
I was born here in Homestead. I don't remember Coral Castle, to be absolutely honest, but I remember the old gentleman who built it.
It's one of the things that the owners are totally against is somebody coming in and saying, I solved the mystery of Coral Castle. I have the Poseidon.
It's one thing I've learned in my time here. Whenever you see something here that looks out of place, there's a reason.
He even said that he knew the secret of the pyramids. The pyramids were built by armies of men. This old man did this by himself.
So right there, that's the intro. Absolutely incredible watch and listen. Absolutely incredible. It's just so amazing that it's done exactly as all those things. The pyramids and those stone walls and Stonehenge and all of those ancient things that we are trying to figure out. This guy put and built by himself in his backyard. So go and check that out. It is absolutely amazing and so cool. This one is kind of funny. I found this to be really fun.
What's up, Mr. Leo? You good? My wife wants me to cut grass, and I don't want to do it. Can I hide in your house for a little bit? You want to hide from your wife? Are you being serious right now? Absolutely. There's beers in the fridge, too, if you want something. Thank you, thank you.
Hi, David. Have you seen my husband?
I haven't, no.
Cops is looking for him.
What?
Cops.
Why?
I don't know.
Hey, officer, can I help you? Hey, how you doing, bud? What's up? What's going on? I need to talk to your neighbor, Leo. The neighbor said he was over at your house. Who told you that? I'm just trying to give this man his wallet back. He left it at the grocery store. Wait, what? I thought I had a felon in my house. I was coming up closer to you and you kept running away from me. Did you do something? No. I got a new bottle of Macallan. You want to tell me some stories? Yes. You gonna tell your wife? Yeah, right. Come on. What's up, Mr. Leo? That's so funny, man. I mean, that's so cool. That's so cool. Cause like, I'm telling you, I wish, I wish my grandfather was still around, because now that, I actually want to sit and listen and have conversations with people, and I kind of wish he was still here. I bet you he had a lot of stories to tell, or even a couple of years ago. I mean, he did pass when I was 11, but I bet you he had some great stories, and I bet you that guy's got some great stories. We all have some great stories because, we all lived. We all had a life, and we all did stupid shit. So I think everybody on the planet has always got a good story, but we don't listen enough.
And that's, I believe, one of the reasons why the elderly die old and alone, is because nobody wants to listen or interact with them anymore, because we feel like they've, I don't know, maybe they're less than because we're younger, they're older, but at the same time, those stories get lost. That information gets lost. I know for me, now I pick my dad's brain a lot more. So do that. If you still have your grandparents in your life, take advantage of everything that they're going to tell you. Listen to them. Don't do everything that they tell you, but listen to them. Ask them questions. They have knowledge and they have experience. And so do your parents. And if you're not on talking terms with them, I get it. But at the same time, if you are, talk to them more. Ask them more things, because all of that, when they pass, it goes with them. And then you're always at least for me, I'm sitting here going, man, I wish I could have heard some stories from my grandfather. I mean, one of the stories that my dad always tells me about my grandfather, and I always find this one to be fun, is that they changed out boilers and stuff when my dad was like in his 20s. And they would put in everything, and then my grandfather would be like, everything hooked up, and they'd be like, yep, and they'd fire it up, and they'd run it. And then my grandfather would walk around and check the pipes with a lighter. Gas pipes, everybody. So he's walking around with a lighter, flicking it in front of pipes to make sure they're not leaking gas. I mean, that's the type of shit they used to do. You can't do that today. So, man, I wish I could have gotten that story and so many more that I've heard from my dad about my grandfather from his mouth. I bet you it would have been a great sit down and listen. You know what I mean? But so don't put yourself in the position that I'm in to wonder what it would have been like. Just go do it. Just go do it. All right. And so I'm not giving up on this, and Joan Rivers died because of it, I believe. Check this out, everybody.
Mr. Rivers, how are you? You made a ton of news officiating the wedding in New York yesterday. Is this like a new cottage career move for you?
I am so excited.
Yeah.
And I should do very well because I don't charge.
And do you think that the country will see the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman president?
We already have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a trans.
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
It's okay.
She said that 1 month before she died. Look, hey, telling you, we'll get to the bottom of that truth someday. I do believe it, but I'm not letting it go, everybody. I'm not letting it go, and I hope you don't let anything go as well. Keep looking in. Keep asking questions. Keep them on their toes, everybody. That's what we need to do. We need to keep them on their toes and keep them guessing, and we need to start questioning everything that they tell us to do and not to do. Because I do believe with them, you do the opposite. They tell you to do it, you don't. They tell you not to do it, you do it. That's why I have a hard time with everything. But, anybody who lies for a long, long time, it's really hard for them to tell the truth. But on the other hand, once people find out you're lying, it's very hard for them to believe you anymore. So, unfortunately, I do believe they did this to themselves. And, that's just the way it is. Everybody, I really do want to say thank you to everybody out there. I greatly appreciate all the support. Let's keep it going. Let's make 2025 a great year all around. Hopefully, 2024 is now behind us, and I wish all of you enjoyable and happy rest of your Thursday. Enjoy your weekend. Happy New Year. And of course, I will talk to you later.